football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? It's United in the news. We are breaking down, not a full breakdown of the transfer window, but we're breaking down all the news. Early September. Just talked about that Liverpool defeat. Oh, stung. But United's transfer window closes. Some good, some bad, some ugly. Ugarte over the line. Europa League schedule. I would love to be going to that Porto away match. If you are, let us know. I would love to be there. And we're going to try and get over for Europa League game as well. But end of the window. Preview of our European schedule for the remainder of the year, going all the way into late January for the group stage. So how we feeling? How we doing?
We're doing good other than that Liverpool thumping defeat. That one is tough to swallow. But, you know, Ineos, this is we're going to focus here on the transfer news and the transfer window. Ineos did a good job. And at the end of the day, like, our hands were kind of tied behind our back with PSR because Ineos came in, not a lot of money. That we all know the Glazers have been putting everything on the credit card. So there isn't a lot to spend. So it was all about selling. I think the club did a great job this window selling. Excuse me. We'll talk about how the sales really limited what we could do from a purchasing perspective. So for the first time ever, United really got rid of dead wood. You know,
Ever.
Shout out to Ineos. And part of getting rid of dead wood, or maybe getting in new players, is you have to sell players you don't want to sell, a la Scott McTominay, to get Ugarte in. I think that was a player we didn't want to get rid of, that we could have maybe got rid of Casemiro. We would have taken that money and then got Ugarte, but nobody wanted Cas. So here we are. And so Ineos really had their work cut out, but we saw for the first time United doing multiple deals, structured deals on the sale side with, you know, buyback and resale. Very clever, very sharp from Ineos. Great business. The issue for me is there's still holes in this squad, and we're still day late, dollar short of FC. And we did say going into this window, Ineos isn't going to be able to solve everything. So it is going to be a transitionary year to most likely the next window. Post all these commercial deals I anticipate Ineos will do to like get more cash in the door so we can spend more next summer and really solve the striker, left back, CDM issue. But a good start from Ineos, big summer from them.
Yeah, and they were never going to get it done all in one summer. It takes, even if they had unlimited money, you can't get it done all in one summer. I think they even ran out of time because they still had time. I think if we had another week, we would have gotten in a striker. But a really commendable job. They had so much deadwood to carry out. They got so many just like lagging problems off the books. They found a place for what's his name, Jadon Sancho. In reality, we're going to pay some of his wages, but there's a road to 20 million at the end of next season. They got Donny van de Beek finally off the books. Took a big L there, but they got it done. Mason Greenwood, they got him off the books. McTominay, I think, is the only one where it's like, damn, we could have usefulness for that player in this squad this season. But he's the type of move that you need to do for this team thinking the next 3 years out, because you should move beyond McTominay at this age, who, you know, should be featuring for his own career's sake. So the Napoli move is a good one, I think, for him, but it's going to sting United in the near term. But either way, they showed real astuteness. Buyback clauses, sell on. They move young players on, and they have the chance to retain them going forward. If it turns around, Kamwala, who knows? Facundo, who knows? So they know how to do deals. They had a lot to do. They got a lot done, but they had so much still left to do, right? But that's because they just ran out of time at the end of the day. But great first window from Ineos, get an idea of like what they're looking to do. Also love the Cheeto deal, the Sekou Kone deal, like cheap young players who are at the top of their position in places we need it. So thinking long term, and that's how United fans need to think. It's like long term vision, long term.
We're going to need to be thinking long term because it's going to be a long term before we beat the Scouse Bastards 3-0 at Anfield. But like you said, a lot of wins, some losses. Like there wasn't a market for Casemiro. There wasn't a real market for Jadon Sancho. You would have preferred somebody to pay 30 up front for him, get him off the books permanently. And that wasn't there. That deal wasn't there. And that really sucks because if that deal was there, we might be talking about an Ivan Toney coming to United. We were sell to buy because of PSR, and that really limited what Ineos could do. And having to sell McTominay to get Ugarte, while I do agree with it because the midfield's a huge issue at the moment, you hate to see academy lad who fights for this team. No matter the manager, always selected because he's a dog, go out the door. That is a squad player that we wish well, and you got to make cutthroat decisions if you own this team. It can't just be contract extensions for the boys, because that's what United has been. Magoo, Lindelof, everybody gets an extension. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, another good player that you rate, out the door. Like, that's a tough call to make, but Ma's coming in already looking sharp. So I like Ineos. I like their experience. They have the right staff. It's just going to take much more time and much more money to get it right. Sir, quick PSA for the podcast. You like the American Red Devils? Check out our YouTube channel. American Red Devils on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. We're getting this off the ground this season. Very excited for it. No matter where we finish, we will be enjoying our journey here, covering everything Manchester United on YouTube, sir.
Keep
Even
saying
the 3-0 losses.
Keep telling yourself that.
We love it all.
Oh,
we love it all.
I
And
love the
we've-
excuses. The excuses of Erik Ten Hag are my favorite part about United this season.
I don't need more excuses. And if you can't get enough of them up at Take, check out our Patreon page. We do an extra special behind-the-scenes episode every single month. Support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/American Red Devils. And also check out our store. Pick up a scarf, a shirt, a hat, everything you buy. Supports the podcast. We got the gear, repping the gear, sir. Support the pod. It goes a long way. Check out our website, AmericanDevils.com. And tell them about iTunes reviews, sir.
iTunes reviews are a great way to support the pod. They help us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And even better, we're still giving away free merch. All you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot of that review to americandevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Keep those reviews coming. Sending out free merch, sir. Let's talk about some news. Let's talk
about the Europa League, sir. Let's get Hans and Franz on the beat here.
Play that shit.
Let's go. We're back, baby.
God.
For longtime listeners of the pod, you know Hans and Franz in the DJ booth, cranking the tunes, waiting for the beat drop. Champions League got a new theme. Europa League, not so fast. We are staying strong. The slow build-up. And that brings us to the Europa League schedule, sir. If you were confused about the last format, whoa, this is getting really interesting here.
Explain it to me like I'm an idiot.
So, instead of groups where you get 3 games, 2 against 2, you're getting 8 games, 2 extra games, and you don't play the same team. So it's a completely different format. It's called the league phase. We're going to play matches from September 25th all the way through January 30th. So we used to get the draw on January 30th, and now we're getting the league phase through February, where we get into the knockouts.
No break. I used to get January off. I used to get like half of December and then January off. No breaks. So you see that there's like a knockout stage in case you don't do well enough.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit to break down. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but you can kind of see this is what the league phase will look like. And obviously, we're going to tell Hans and Franz, hey, calm it down here. Calm it down, guys. Calm it down, guys. But it's this giant table here. Obviously, we're at
our group. It's not our group, is it?
We're at the top of it, and the fixture is really interesting because United play 8 different teams. We're gonna be playing
At the bottom. There you go.
20 Porto away, 20 at home, Porto away, Fenerbahce away, PAOK home, Bodo. They have 2 names, home, Victoria Plizen away, Rangers home, FCSB away. So some great games for the team. I like this new format. Keep it fresh, like the whole home and away tie. I'm not sad to see it go because we have some interesting fixtures against some, Rangers, a great game. Porto, that's a great game. I feel like that's really the quality of this competition. And Fenerbahce away with Jose Mourinho, that's a shout out. So I'm excited for Europa League.
Yeah, I like half the format. I actually like you play a different team each time, and it kind of does like the running table across everybody. I just don't think you need extra games going through all of January. I thought like January is always a good time to kind of get your legs up after a really frantic holiday season. I think it's just putting more onus on the players, but I do like. We got some good ties. Porto away will be a blast if you can make it. Like you said, Fenerbahce will be a fucking like a furnace with Jose Mourinho like pumping them up. Rangers at home.
Jose wins that
great
one.
fixture. Yeah, most likely with Fred the Red like having a game against us. So a lot of games. I have a feeling it'll go late. I have a feeling it'll go all the way to like Rangers or FCSB. But Europa League is back. A lot to play for. A lot of games. A lot of squad to manage because there's a lot of games and they're coming up thick and fast. So great chance for silverware. UEFA Cup. We've won it before. I take another one.
No, absolutely. And we have a lot of young players in the team, right? Seko Kone's coming in. I want to see him play in Europa League. That's really what United. No manager has ever really done that. We just play full strength. Ole did the same. Ten Hag is doing the same probably. But I just want to see put out the youngsters in Europa League. Come on, it's like you're playing these lower level teams. Let youngsters get a taste and use it as a competition to develop the youth. That's what I see it as. And Thursday, Sunday turnarounds tight for Bruno every week. So 8 games as well. And you're thinking 8 Thursday nights. 8 Thursday night pods. Let's go. Eight, baby. We're going from 6 to 8.
Jesus.
But I'm excited. I'm open-minded to the new format. We got some frisky games. I want to see United play well, beat up these teams, get the kids involved. That's really exciting for me.
Yeah, let's get Koyer involved. Let's get Seko when he's ready to get involved.
Give Cheeto a game.
When he's ready to. Let's not rush that. Let's get Harry Amos some minutes. I mean, there are a lot of youngsters ready to break on through. Ethan at striker, he's going to be ready to go. So it's I think manager's going to be playing for his life, so he's going to be playing.
No, I know.
That's the problem. They get
selfish.
They just want to. They're playing to keep their job, bro. They're all self-centered in the sense that they want to make sure they continue to be the coach, which you can't blame them for. But I want to blood some youth because we got some really exciting youth players. The manager has done that right. Keep doing that. That buys you time with the United Faithful, but only for so long, sir. Only for so long.
Speaking of self-centered.
Zing! I like that. Get him. Top rope.
Jadon Sandwich has joined Chelsea on loan. Loan to buy if they finish above 14th. So now we're all Chelsea supporters. So that we can get rid of Jadon Sancho. This deal, it's a bummer. Not to lose Sancho, to get rid of Sancho positive, not to get paid up front for him, where we could then take that money and then buy another attacking threat this window. This is where Sandwich screwed. He got the last laugh because we were Alex is like, ha ha ha, he's gone. But
I haven't even spoke yet.
I know you hate him and want him to go, but he is an attacking body in an attack that doesn't have a lot of flair, and we have no idea where goals are going to come from. So I'd prefer him to be at United over nothing. Some people prefer him to be gone over nothing. I wish he just didn't hate United that much, but I wish we got money to then get somebody else because we're dying for goals, and we're going to be dying for goals all year long. We got rid of 7 league goals with McTominay going to Napoli. Didn't replace them really in any way, shape, or form. Going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think McTominay is going to be the bigger loss than Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon Sancho had to go. Obviously it hasn't worked out. Don't hate the guy. I just don't think he's a fit at Manchester United. So it was always going to be a challenge to get him off the books. I think this is the best deal we could find. We've foisted on Chelsea. In theory, they see the upside. We'll get him for 20. Maybe it could be worth something for them. But, good luck. He's going to be distracted by the bright lights of London. But I agree with you. We're going to have to fix the fucking defense because we're going to have a real challenge getting goals this season. He wasn't contributing, but McSauce was. We'll talk about McSauce in a second. But, Sancho, you definitely want more. You wanted more money. You wanted more money up front, and you wanted all the wages covered. But it's an obligation that they should basically hit unless they finish, like you said, lower than 14th, which shouldn't happen. The fee is not great, but you're getting most of the wages off, and you're getting a path for him out the door. It's this is a huge victory for Ineos. This is probably one of the hardest moves they had to do this window, which is why it ran all the way
this
up.
Is not a great victory
for Ineos, not for United, but yes, I think it is.
No, this is not a good victory for Ineos. This is a bad situation where the manager fell out with this player, rightfully or wrongfully. They tried to make up, and they couldn't make it work, so we had to sell it a cut rate deal that did not have favorable terms for United. Jadon Sancho is a £35 million upfront signing for sure. We are paying his wages to play at Chelsea, and and we're like some wages, dude. That's not good. We're paying him to play for somebody else. It's like, and it's probably because of the feud with the manager. And it's like he's serviceable in some regards. We saw him in preseason. He wasn't bad. Didn't look like the worst player on the pitch by any margin. And we're going to pay him to play somewhere else for a year. And then at the end of it, we might get 20-something million, depending on their league position. That would suggest that we did everything to get rid of him because he literally refused to play at United. And if that's the case, you get rid of him. But I just wish we could get somebody in. The way the deal's structured is our arms are tied, and we couldn't get in like a Tony or somebody on the cheap or take a punt on somebody, and that's just going to hurt United. So this move benefits Sancho in some regard, but it kind of hamstrung us a little bit in the transfer window because cash is tight.
Cash is definitely tight, and I think if anything, we ran out of time. I think if we had another week, I think honestly, bro, you know who's available, who got like frozen out and doesn't have a squad, is this really good player named Victor Osimhen, who like literally like he's like frozen out of Napoli to make way for like meat pie Lukaku. We just ran out of minutes. It is a shitty deal for United, I agree, but like the alternative is him fucking around more, going another loan, and basically running down to zero. So it's like this is better.
This is a loan, for the record. This is another.
It's a loan to obligation to buy, though. I agree, but there's like they're gonna finish higher than 14th or higher. It's
don't jinx it.
Higher. Okay, well if they don't, that would be
Sandwich
hilarious.
Coming back.
That would be hilarious. But like, come on, bro. Their squad, they got Arnold Palmer.
But why would they put that in the clause? It's like Chelsea. Chelsea it shouldn't be a league position thing. It should be they have to buy him.
No, but there's actually there's a chance that he comes back. But it doesn't he can get injured the whole season as long as they finish 14th or higher.
No, I know. I know how it works. I've never seen a term like this. It's the weirdest deal ever. But let's get into Scotty McSauce headed out the door. This is a sad one. We've talked about it on the pod, but it's done. We sold Scott McTominay to get Ugarte in. Ineos wanted to sell Casemiro to get Ugarte in. Ineos wanted PSG to play ball on the fee to get Ugarte in. They would not, and it came down to a big move, big call. We're going to get rid of a good player the manager rates to get in Ugarte, and that was an Ineos call, and you have to make tough calls when you're running a sporting operation. Now, to the victor go the spoils, because if Ugarte comes in flat, then you're going to be like, and McTominay starts flying at Napoli. Which he will, because it feels like everything United does goes sideways in the market lately. But I don't know. This one, it's shrewd business from Ineos. I just feel like this midfield is like this mystery we can't solve, and teams in the league have plenty of midfielders. We have Eriksen in the midfield as well. I just don't know why it's so hard for Manchester United to figure out the midfield issue. And to put all the pressure on Ugarte, I think is the wrong angle. But clearly that's what they went with. That's where we're going this year. And shout out to Scott McTominay for a great career at Manchester United.
Yeah, this is a tough one because if you could have, you would have sold Casemiro and still get Ugarte in and keep McTominay. He's like a foil. He's super useful late in the game. Throw him in the box. He creates stuff. He's got good feet. This is probably one of the first ones we've seen where this is an Ineos call. The manager had his druthers. He would have kept him. They were like, no, we got to move him. That's the only way. We have to get Ugarte in while we can, and we'll see how that works out. But Ugarte is the right long-term move. And like I said, I think Ugarte is like a now guy. Like, we got the fee, reasonable, but he's not the six. He's not the guy who's going to grow into Rodri. He's not the guy who's going to grow into Casemiro. But he's a very useful dog that we need to bail out our center backs, and we need to bail out the rest of our midfield. But I worry about not having a player like him, because we don't have anyone that you could throw in late. We don't have we don't have a big striker. We don't even have a Wout Weghorst, so obviously didn't do shit. But you got my drift. Someone who can throw in and he's a presence, because we need that. Even if we start playing better, you still need a plan B and C, and I feel like we lack those. So United has to figure out the defense now, and we got to be like a lockdown city, and Ugarte's got to help with that.
We got to figure out something.
Everything.
Nothing. International break. Here we go, sir. Look, let's get into our final grades real quick. We can have a more detailed breakdown later, but we're just trying to give you the quick and dirty. What would be your grade for Ineos in the summer transfer window? They did a lot. What would you say your grade is?
I'm going to give them a favorable grade. It's going to probably be higher than most people think, just because of the business they did. I think it's an A-, and I think they would have gotten higher if they were able to get a Tony in or somebody, literally a Giroud, alone. You needed another goal scorer. Obviously, we want another left back. You can make an argument for another midfielder, but like I think all the things they did, 14 players out, moving off Deadwood, like Greenwood, AWB, Donny Van de Beek. I think they did a lot of good moves. All the players are 26 or younger. I thought the fees were reasonable. The only one that gives me a little discomfort is the Ugarte fee. I wish we got that for like 7 less, but all in all, dude, add some physicality to the squad. DeLitt and Maz look like real players. I'm happy with the win. I think they did a lot right. I think they ran out of time. I think if they got another couple of weeks, which you don't get, they might have had an even better window because they were making the right type of moves, sell-ons, buybacks, just everything you want to see, sir. What's your grade?
I'm going B-. I'm a harsh grader, so now that we have a world-class front office, I'm going to grade on a world-class level. The reason why it's B- has to be the Ugarte fee, selling McSauce, not being able to get Sancho done for a real deal. That's a surprising one. Keeping Casemiro is another. Not getting like a loan, like a Wout Weghorst number 9 character. Like we need somebody. Like I just feel, and left back, like getting on loan. Like I'm not talking about splashing cash we don't have. I'm talking about just being a little more frisky at the end there. I was for sure if Sancho went out the door, they'd bring in another attacking threat. Something.
Even a Sterling. I got around to that. I started getting there.
I like not doing the Sterling wages, but just a punt on a nobody, like a Galu coming from China type of thing. Like, hey, somebody's coming in. Like the Xerxes deal is one that I think in retrospect we're going to look at and be like, they paid too much for that one. Because I said at the time, you're not buying. I said at the time, we're not buying an out-and-out number 9. You're buying like a hybrid who drops deep, but we need an out number 9 to like create the space for Bruno. And so we're already seeing, you can see the signs that like you would like a Xerxes who does the dropping deep, and you'd also like somebody who is like a Rashford, like route 1. And we need that 1-2 punch. But if Højlund's injured and you only have Xerxes, people can figure you out. And so I really felt like we needed someone else, like another body, like an Igalo character who can come in and just give a different look to teams. And to pigeonhole us for not having that for a long time is going to be rough. And I just feel like it's always going to be this type of year. Maybe I'm being harsh on the grade. They did do great on the selling side, but the prices we sold for were pretty cut rate. They were ruthless getting the deals done, though, on the other side of it. So, shout out Ineos. Next year's the real summer. I think they're going to knock it out of the park. The real transfer is getting Ashworth in. Like that, you have to grade A+. If you talk about front office hires, they win across the board. I thought I would see just a little more from them. Maybe that's why I'm being a little harsh.
Remember, Ashworth didn't start till July 1st. We had two tournaments, Euros and Copa. I think it'd be slightly harsh because they had so much work to do.
But we're going again with an incomplete team.
We finally moved the weight out. Like we always talked about, we had to move these players off, and they did. They took L's.
Yeah, but
like
we've
the Sancho on the chin, you took it. I agree.
No,
You'd
but
love to have gotten Casemiro instead.
We're going another season with an incomplete team.
Yeah,
another
season. We were going to.
Like
they were never going to fix everything in one window.
No, but like last summer, we're like they had to get a center back in, right? Now this summer we got 2, so they fixed that. But then the leaky bucket, boom, there's a hole in the attack, and then they signed Xerxes, who I would like someone EPL proven, just like come in and just you don't have to think about it. And obviously Xerxes is a great player, but he has to find his level. He's young. I just feel like there was a disconnect in like we already have a young guy. We need a veteran who's seen it before and can do the job, like a Giroud or something like that. I just felt like the balance was a little off on the signings they made, and we're gonna see how it all stacks up. But this is gonna be a transition year, and I was hoping maybe some loans or some cheeky late deadline day deals could have plugged left back and another striking option, so we didn't have to go through this whole season just being like, where are the goals? Where are the goals? Because that's a bold move to only score, 57 last year in the league, and we got rid of 7 from McTominay and didn't add anything. And that's not enough.
Xerxes, but yeah, hopefully he can score
not
7
like,
goals.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, we didn't have a proven goal scorer, but I just think like they had a lot to do. You're never
we
gonna
needed
do
goals.
You're never going to do it all in 1 year.
We needed goals.
But they didn't fix, but they made major investments in defense. They made major investments in midfield, especially in CDM. You bought one for now in Ugarte. You bought Kone for the future. That's probably going to be some of the best bit of, fair. That's going to be some of the best bit of business, because when you pay £1 million for a player at 18 who has a lot of upside, the risk reward is just totally different. So it's like defense, I feel like we're in a much better position. We've got 3 to 4 really good center backs. It's going to take time.
Well, the
goals are going to be an issue, but let's get the defense squared away. Let's get the midfield squared away, and then you can always add attackers. And they didn't want to buy an old guy.
okay.
They didn't want to buy an old guy. They want to buy
Let me rephrase
this.
Let me rephrase it. What if instead of Xerxes we got Sesko? What if instead of Ugarte we got Onana? That's an A for me. That's an A window.
Sure. Both better players.
And guess what? The prices were not far off, and Tony went to Saudi for pretty cheap.
There's no way you're getting Sesko for 35 million pounds.
He was 50. No, they were looking at Sesko, and they went with a Xerxes, who's a completely different profile. And so the whole idea is like, if you got a Sesko, you'd be like, holy crap! Like that's the level we need to find. That's a profile we need to find, and we're just missing that, And I feel like we're going to struggle in the attack specifically. So, we're splitting hairs here. Sir, I say B-, you say A-. Ineos is way better. We've been great.
Way better.
D's and
They're
F's.
doing a great job. They're doing they deserve plaudits. They work their ass off.
Yeah, totally.
They work their fucking ass off.
But look, that's the podcast. You like the American Red Devils? We're for fans, by fans, sir. Home in the Muppet Take. Check out our store, AmericanDevils.store. Pick up a hat, scarf. Support this club. It's going to be a crazy year. What a crazy transfer window in the books. Ineos just getting started. Can't wait for it. Also, check out our website, AmericanDevils.com, Patreon.com/AmericanRedDevils. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Dublin, Ireland, New York, Los Angeles, California, Houston, Texas, Oslo, Norway, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina, last but not least, Melbourne, Australia. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do without you. Always darkest for the dawn. We're going to get you a full breakdown of the transfer window after the fact. But first transfer window in the books, many more to come. Rome was not built in a day, sir. Has to be said. Looking forward to breaking down like the depth chart 3 months ago versus where we are today. I think that will make us feel a little bit better about the progress made, but not done yet. Like you said, next summer, let's get in some firepower, something to look forward to. Lots to look forward to, sir. Lots to look forward to.
Some speed. Some fire, some goals. Let's go. We're Manchester United. Attack, attack, attack. We're going to leave you with good old Ollie's at the wheel. It's a classic.
Throwback.
It's a classic.